Hello, and good morning. It's still pretty early here in Las Vegas. If you haven't figured it out yet, today I'm going to show you how to smoke some ribs. So, my first recommendation when smoking ribs, don't tell anybody you're doing it. Once I give you this recipe and you've tried it a few times, if you share it with your friends and family, they'll never leave you alone. They'll ask you to cook it all the time. You'll bankrupt yourself in ribs because they'll just keep eating them and eating them and eating them. I'm telling you, it's simple, it's easy, it's unbelievably good. It'll be better than any restaurant you've been to, and you'll have made it yourself. It's super cool. So, those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Kahn. I owned Rocco's New York Italian Deli and Brooklyn Pizza Company here in Las Vegas for over 10 or 12 years. It was always my fantasy to open up a restaurant, so I feel super fortunate that I got to do it, not just once, but twice. I made all the recipes from scratch. My cook, Eddie Pastero, and I broke them down into like super easy to follow instructions. We're gonna post some of those. I'm gonna put up the recipes and let you guys follow along. I bought some spare ribs. Typically, I would probably not get the spare ribs. I'd probably get something a little bit different, but they were at such a great price, there was no reason not to, because anything will work just fine. Whatever your favorite thing is to put in for ribs, go ahead and pick that out. I'm going to show you what wood chips I use. I mentioned it in the how to cook a brisket video as well. There's certain little tricks and techniques I do. I use similar ones with the ribs, make it super tender and delicious for everyone. I'm even going to have a special guest come in, Bob's sauce, because I smoke it for the first bit, then I do a special technique afterwards. If you guys stick around and check it out, see how Bob's sauces these things up. It's pretty friggin' cool. So stick around, enjoy, thumbs up, subscribe, like, dislike, engage a bit, and I'm going to show you how to make the best smoked ribs you guys have had. Thanks. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks right off the bat. First one is I've laid down some ceramic. Just makes my life easier. When it comes to cleaning, I've got the meat right on top of the counter, but it protects it a bit. I'll still wash it and clean it and everything else like I normally do, but if I lay out 3 or 4 pieces of saran wrap to work on, it's a nice working surface. So, let's point right here. What you don't see is there's typically a really thin layer of harder fat. So what I want everyone to do, just take a knife, do a real sharp knife, real thin line right down it, and peel off. You'll see, all right, there we go. And then I'll be able to show you on this one. I'll turn the camera off and peel it off of all of them, and I'll explain what it is. When you dig under, it's really thin. But let's see if I can get a nice big piece for you guys so you can see. See that? See how that's peeling off? I don't mean to, but you want to take all of this skin off, all of it. So you ever go to that barbecue place and you're eating your ribs and it's got that really hard piece of skinish fat on the outside? Well, to me, that's called lazy employee or people just not doing what they should to take that off. The other thing it does is if you're going to use a smoker and not just heat it in an oven or something, that gets the smoke right into the meat. So that hard piece is going to block everything from getting into it. And you really want it on both sides. So you want to pull as much of that off as possible and clean it up nice and good before putting your spices on. Again, it'll get that layer off so the smoke gets in there. And you're not going to have that tough piece of fat when you go to eat it. I want you to think about it the next time you go to your barbecue place and pay attention to each one. Any of them that you get that hard piece on, you know that they don't know what they're doing, and you do. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to peel the rest of it off, prepare it. I'll show you guys the spices after that, and then we'll get the wood chips and stuff. So I just want to show you a real quick close-up of, I did half of it off of one of the racks, took off half of the back, that skin, so you can see what it kind of looks like. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but see how the top half there is still smooth and the bottom down to the left of the camera you can see how the fat looks a little bit different. That's because we've gotten rid of the skin and exposed the fat directly. Again, that way when we get the smoker going, it'll actually get into the meat as opposed to just being stuck on the outside, because that'll block it. Well, here we are, the spicing it. I've done my own rubs. They come out great. You're welcome to do your own. But to be fair, Kinder's makes an excellent one too. Saves me a ton of time. I can take the garlic and the brown sugar and everything else, but quite honestly, this is really good. I'm very generous with it all the way across, and I'll flip them and do both sides. But that's about it, which is why it's like, I might as well, I pick it up at Albertsons or Costco or wherever, and then this is all. Super simple, guys. Both sides. Bam, bam, and bam. Anybody who likes, we could have some ribs tartare. No, don't do that. Disgusting. You know, years ago, cook all sorts of things differently, you know? But no ribs tartare, thank you. All right, nice and generous. We'll bring this over and show you guys so you can see. Smells good already. See? I don't know if you can see, I don't want to go past the saran wrap, but clean anyway, but hopefully that looks good. Got them all seasoned. We'll get the wood chips in. I'll show you how that looks, and I'll just keep moving along on anything else. All right, a couple of tricks here. One, tinfoil. So I hope the noise isn't too loud. I take some tinfoil. I'll finish it maybe off camera. I'll melt it down and I take the tinfoil and I put it in the tray where the wood chips go for a couple of reasons. And we finish it, and then I'll start yapping in case it's making too much noise. Now I want it as quiet as possible to make sure when I put the top on, it's sealed. So, one, it makes it easier for cleaning. Now, your smoker is going to get dirty. It's really hard to keep it clean. But I like mesquite and cherry. I like to make sure that they're small enough they fit in, but as I've talked in other videos, I don't really trust the pellets, so it makes me feel a lot more comfortable. So some mesquite and some cherry wood right on top of there. Now, a couple things. I don't know if you notice, I'm going straight from the bag right into the smoked wood chipper container instead of soaking the chips. I find that gives it more smoke. Those of you who like to soak your chips, it's okay, but my recommendation is stop doing it and just go through more wood chips. You know, I understand it makes it last longer, but this creates more smoke. And the reason I use a smoker is to get that flavor into the meats. And if I'm going to damp the wood and temper the smoke, it doesn't work as well. So my theory is as much smoke as I can as quickly as possible, which means I don't soak them and they go right in here. That's the other reason for the tin foil, is maybe an hour or two into the first round of cooking, these chips are going to be beginning to get burnt and overcooked. So I want to pull them out. I'm able to just take that tin foil and take it out of this tray and then just put in another thing of tin foil with more wood chips. It's a really easy transition to rotate fresh new wood chips in. If you saw my how to cook a brisket video, for me it's really important to have fresh wood chips. I don't want to be cooking over burnt wood. You know, I feel like everything that goes into this goes into the food, and that's the flavor you're getting. So I want to use these for an hour or so until they start to get overcooked, and then put in new fresh wood, just like I would anything else that I'm using. You know, always the best things I can and try to make them out the best. I get it, I go through more wood than most people, but I still think it comes out better. So, without any more ado, I'm going to get the smoker heated up, start the smoke, give it about a half hour to fill up before I even put the ribs in, and we can show you that too. I want to show you real quick where I keep the temperature for pretty much most things that I smoke. I think most people get the temperatures a little bit hotter. For me, you know, it's like that low and slow type of thing. So I'm going to show you a quick thing of let's make sure it's in there real good. Okay, so you see, I try to get it 180 to 200 range, top end 220, but that's pretty much perfect for where I want the temperature. So I'm gonna go get the ribs and just put them in. There's nothing to really show. It's real simple. I just open it up, put them in, and then we're gonna give them about 3.5 hours, somewhere between 3 and 4 hours before my special trick. And then I'll bring you guys back when I go to that. And if I have to change the wood chips, maybe I'll take a shot of that. But so you know, it's real simple. Tin foil out, fresh new wood chips in. Again, when I get to do that, maybe I'll show you a clip. If you want, though, you can always see the how to cook a brisket video, because I had to do it when I did that, and it gives a great sample of how to change out your wood chips if they get too burned. So like, subscribe, keep an eye for the rest, and we'll make you some great ribs. So I'm going to show you the smoker again to show you that's exactly what I'm looking for, the temperature and the smoke that we want to see. So look, see how it's billowing? That's because we didn't soak the chips and because we let them be dry. And then, look, see that? Not super high, low and slow. Like, that'll make you the most delicious ribs you ever had. Really, that's what I want to see. I want to see that for the next 3 hours, and then I'll show you my trick from there. It's super simple, and I'll make a bunch of people cringe. So cool deal. Okay, so if there was a part where there was like a big flashing red rant, 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 here's a big trick section. This would be it. So this is a great little trick that I'll call cringe-worthy, because I'm guessing half of you are going to cringe when I do this. But it really helps to make it consistent and soft and juicy and super tender. I've cooked the ribs so far about 4 hours, just laying out in the smoke by themselves right on the racks. So, you know, really they're pretty much done in some ways, but not really. They at the temperature I'm cooking it, it should really get like 6 or 7 hours. And then here's what I do to make them super moist. This is awesome. Like I said, some of you guys will have cringing and heart attacks and everything else. I understand. You know, a lot of you will take like a spray bottle and spray it every 10 minutes or so to make sure everything stays nice and juicy. But this makes everything easier. I go about my day. I wrap it up, and you can use apple juice. I'm using peach today just to do something a little bit different. Thought it'd be fun. Really, you can use anything. You can use Sprite or 7-Up or whatever you want. I get a good 6 or 8 ounces of liquid in here. I put some tin foil on the bottom, and then I put a little saran wrap on top, just to make sure it doesn't, like, it's really easy when you're putting it in the smoker to kind of poke a hole in the tin foil. So I do the saran wrap just in case I get a hole, so that all that liquid doesn't fall out, because the whole point is to have it in there for the next 2 hours, so it can cook in the juice and as well as the juice from the ribs, and it'll make your ribs really tender. And then stick around for the next step, because I'm going to show you the last trick at the end. We're not quite done when they come out of the smoker. I'm going to have my partner, if I can find him. I'm looking for a guy named Bob Sauce, who's like the artist of how to put the barbecue sauce on the ribs and set them up so that we can finish them off. And I'll show you that last trick. So keep an eye out for Bob Sauce. I'll see if I can find him while this is cooking, and then we'll come right back. So the ribs have now been cooking a total of 6 hours, 4 hours just straight on the racks, and then 2 hours wrapped in their juice. I left one other rack still on there just to give it another half hour or so, see how it ends up. But I want to show you how it comes out, what it looks like, and what I do with it when it comes out. I have one on there, you can see how nice it looks. And here we have the other. So first, I take the saran wrap off and stuff, and you'll be able to see when I pull it out of the wrapping here how tender it is, the way it just bends and moves and almost falls off the bone. That's why I know my wife likes it. Even I like it with a little bit of a bite, So I take it out early for me, and she likes them super soft, so I'll let it cook a little bit longer in the liquid to make the next one soft. So then what I do, I don't know if you can see it, but all the juice in here, I'm gonna take that and pour it into a bowl. I can cook that down with some barbecue sauce and use that to marinate it later and show you my last trick of why it's not finished yet. So we get them like this. I'll start slicing them up into 2 pieces at a clip, maybe, 1, 2, or 3, so that when people grab them, they're not getting the whole rack, that they can just grab a couple of bites and go from there. So I'm gonna turn it off, I'm gonna cut them up, and then we'll come back, and I'm hoping to find a special guest. There's somebody that lives nearby that's really good at this last step, so I'm gonna see if I can find him, bring him around, and show you that trick at the end, because it's awesome. So, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay, you can turn your volume back up. Whoops. So here's the ribs after 6 hours of smoking. We did the first 4 hours just by themselves, another 2 hours wrapped with the liquids. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna prepare them for the last step, which is a little bit of a trick not everybody does, because they're not finished yet. You can't just put the sauce on and be done. But while I'm talking about sauce, I actually brought somebody in who's really special. I think you all might know him. Maybe you don't, maybe you recognize him, but he is the artist of saucing ribs. Everybody welcome Bob Sauce. Bob Sauce, come on.
Hello guys, it's nice to meet you. As we know, I am Bob Sauce, like he said, and today we're gonna use 2 colors, red and brown, since you never know. So first, we're gonna start off with a little dash of brown. Get in there, get it wet, and then just meet the rib, since it always has a personality. You never know. You gotta meet its personality and say hello to it, because you need to know it in order to sauce it. Let me just get it all on there.
Does everybody see this technique that he's got? I mean, it really is amazing.
And then afterwards, we're gonna use a dash of red. Just a little dash. And then put it on there. Of course, you can always put more like I'm doing right now, since I always like mine with a lot of sauce, especially red.
Wow, that looks great.
You can always adjust it as your own. You could put a dash of it or tons of it.
And now the trick, all joking aside, is we actually put it on the barbecue to finish it off. While it has a great smoke flavor now, the reason that I have Bob Sauce saucing it is what we want to do is we want to get some barbecue sauce on there, and then on the barbecue on a real hot flame to kind of give it that nice finished charred barbecue burnt flavor at the end. We'll get the smokiness from the smoker and then the finish on the barbecue. I'll show you guys that, and then we're gonna eat them. Really, these are the best ribs you'll ever have.
You know what? I might add a little bush, a little happy bush right over here. As you know, I might put a tree, just do like a line, and then just dash it.
Everybody, thank Bob Sauce. We appreciate the help. We're gonna sauce the rest of them, get them on the barbecue, and we'll show you that once we're ready. So here's the final step before eating. I've actually set up the barbecue where I have hottest, hot, least hot, so that as they cook, I can move them down the chain, let it char a bit, and then keep them hot while the other ones are charring. But it's already cooked. It really is just getting that caramelized barbecue sauce into them to give it that right flavor at the end. So I'll show you one so you see what it looks like. I'll finish them off for the family, and then we'll show us eating them. I assume you can see the barbecue. This is kind of how I set it up. Even the plates at the end should be pretty easy to do. Oh, nice and hot. You hear the sizzling. And you're looking for that nice charred part.
So good.
So here's the final product.